All right, I think we're live. Great. Thank you everyone for coming along, and thank you to everybody who's watching from home. We can see that there are a few of you, so it's wonderful that people are watching live. Under the new governance rules, we have the ability to make a meeting virtual, which is in accordance with Part 5 of the new governance rule, and that's why the meeting's being held online today. We do have two councillors who are sick, myself included, and so rather than putting each other at risk and risking spreading those infections, we, it's far better to do that virtual. And I think it also means that all wards can be represented without a councillor having to be absent. So it is fantastic that our new governance rules allow us to do that. The meeting will be recorded, and the live stream is available for anybody to watch live, and will also be made publicly available as a recording on YouTube and Council's website. Nillumbik Shire Council respectfully acknowledges the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people as the traditional owners of the country on which Nillumbik is located, and we value the significance of the Wurundjeri people's history as essential to the unique character of the Shire. We pay tribute to all First Nations people living in Nillumbik, give respect to elders past, present and future, and extend that respect to all First Nations people. We respect the enduring strength of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung and acknowledge the ongoing impacts of past trauma and injustices from European invasion, massacres and genocide committed against First Nations people. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people hold a deep and ongoing connection to this place. We value the distinctive place of our First Nations people in both Nillumbik and Australia's identity, from their cultural heritage and care of the land and waterways, to their ongoing contributions in many fields, including academia, agriculture, art, economics, or sport and politics. And I'll now ask Councillor Egan to read the Good Governance Pledge.
As councillors, we are mindful of our civic responsibilities and obligations. We pledge to take them seriously and to carry them out with diligence and integrity. We know the decisions we take will affect the people and environment of Nillumbik now and in the future. We undertake, therefore, to make sound and principled decisions of lasting value in a spirit of fairness and for the good of all. We also pledge to serve the needs and well-being of the community and the environment in an open and honest manner and to the best of our abilities.
Thank you, Councillor Egan. We did have a prayer reader booked for tonight, but unfortunately he has extended his apologies. He wasn't comfortable presenting online, so we do have an apology from Father Stephen Mankarius from the Coptic Church. And so we will move on. We have no apologies or leaves of absence. I'll ask for conflicts of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest? Carl.
Through the Mayor, I have a conflict with the confidential item CEO Employment Matters Committee report later this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Carl. We have no presentations, and so I'll move us on to confirmation of minutes. I'll look for a mover.
Happy to move that, Mayor. Happy to move the motion that Council confirms the minutes of the Council meeting held on Tuesday, the 25th of July, 2023, as per Attachment 1.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. I'll look for a seconder.
Happy to second, Mayor.
Councillor Egan. I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? And that is carried unanimously, I believe. If councillors could just make sure their hands are visible on the screen when we vote.
Sorry, through the chair, I do see that Councillor Perkins is not on.
Oh, sorry about that. I don't know how that happened.
I'll just put that to the vote again. Those in favour? Wonderful. I see 7 hands. Thank you, councillors. We have no petitions, but we do have some questions from the gallery. If I could just remind those viewing from home that under our new governance rules, questions need to be submitted by midnight on the Sunday before the meeting. We did receive a number of questions late for this meeting. They would have been on time under the previous governance rules, but we have extended that timeline just a little bit to give us more opportunity to put together a thorough answer to the questions. So we will read out those answers tonight, just in the interest of making a smooth transition and giving everybody ample opportunity to get to know the new deadline. But we would appreciate it if people could just take note of that midnight on the Sunday before the meeting, that deadline, so that we can get all the questions in on time. But we will be answering all questions today that were submitted. The first question is from Ingrid Crichton. Question 1. What arrangements are being made for the relocation of the Eastern Region Adult Riding Club from Eltham Lower Park, their home for over 50 years, to another suitable venue? And the response is, officers are currently in discussions with the senior members of the club, exploring alternate locations. We have 2 questions from John Facondo. Question 1, I referred to the discussions about the proposed community urban farm at 2 Bell Street, Eltham, at the PCC meeting on the 8th of August, when one of the councillors stated that the information provided for the community consultation process was all that council knew about the proposal. Why did council rush to undertake this community consultation with such minimal and potentially misleading information that no one can be confident the survey results reflect neither informed local community support nor concerns for this project? And the response is, the purpose of consultation was to respond to recommendations presented to councillors at its June 2022 briefing, particularly being that broader consultation would be required to ascertain community support for this use in this location, and with consideration of our community's views to inform council's decision as to the provision of formal written consent to Local Food Connect as required by the Planning and Environment Act. Subject to any written consent of the public land manager to allow Local Food Connect to become an applicant to a future planning application for use and development of the land for an urban farm, a planning permit application can be lodged with commensurate detail that outlines how amenity-related conditions will be managed, including, for example, car parking, accessibility, and noise. This information has not been received by Local Food Connect to date and is not technically required prior to lodging a planning application. Once the planning application and all information is received to council's satisfaction upon written consent, as required by the Planning and Environment Act, public advertising is undertaken, and accordingly, the community would be afforded the opportunity to view the detailed information submitted by the applicant and make submissions following their review of the information at that time. Question 2 from John Facondo. I understand from the information provided at the same meeting that a letter of support from council was provided to Local Food Connect for their successful application for a state government grant of $200,000 for the proposed community urban farm at 2 Bell Street, Eltham. Who signed the letter, and were all councillors aware of this letter and that it was provided to Local Food Connect prior to community engagement process? And please, could you provide me a verbal and written response to these questions? The response is, officers prepared a letter of in-principle support, which was provided to the Living Local Suburban Grants Programme being administered by the Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions of the time in August 2022, signed by the Mayor of the day, Councillor Francis Eyre. The letter of support clearly noted that following relevant third-party advice and/or approvals and the appropriate community consultation, council would need to formally resolve through a council decision whether to proceed with Local Food Connect's proposal for a community farm at Fabros Field. The next question is from Mel Howard. There are 2 questions. We've provided one response to cover both. Question 1 is, I understand this is late, but Adult Riding Club members only found out about this from a post on Facebook and weren't aware of the discussions for the new dog park at Eltham Lower Park. My question is simple. Why, given the size of the grounds, 15 acres, couldn't some of the existing horse riding area be kept for the Eastern Region Adult Riding Club, given they are entirely separate from the Pony Club? And question 2, why would the council throw off the active adult riding club of 50 years? Why not throw off the lacrosse or cricket grounds instead? And the response to both of those questions is that this is currently a concept project proposed for the area being put out for public consultation. Please feel free to submit any feedback or suggestions you have for the space during the consultation period, which subject to a resolution of council tonight, will commence on the 18th of September. The next question is from Helen Coleman. Question 1. Following the Planning and Consultation Committee meeting on 8 August 2023, Officers Report PCC 01023, Outcome of Community Consultation to Bell Street, Eltham, Fabro Fields, the decision for an urban farm in relation to Fabro Fields is one where the community are clearly divided for many reasons. Bringing an open mind to the decision-making table is required for good decision-making and good governance. How does the Nillumbik Shire Council organisation identify and advise councillors on their responsibility to bring an open mind to decision-making, particularly when debating and making decisions in statutory meetings, and then provide the community with confidence that councillors are able to contribute to the decision-making with an open mind? And the response is, councillors undergo training to understand their responsibilities under the Local Government Act, including the disclosure of conflicts of interest, and are advised that provisions of the Act also operate within a framework of common law principles that bind all governmental decision makers. Each councillor is personally responsible for revealing such conflicts. Council, including the administration, has no power to preclude a councillor from participating in the meeting, including voting on the matter. Councillors are reminded of the importance of considering all matters on their merits with an open and unbiased mind. The second question from Helen. Informed and timely advice is crucial to be provided to councillors when making decisions that impact on the community they represent. Why has a council report not been provided, and when will it be provided, since almost 2 years has passed following, and I quote, a notice of motion nom 00521 tabled by Councillor Jeff Payne on 26th October 2021 that requests council officers prepare and issues an options paper on the viability of a community farm at Bell Street, Eltham, known as Fabro Fields, including the possible objectives and operating models. And the response is, councillors were briefed on an options and issues paper, which was brought in June 2022 for consideration as per the notice of motion of the 26th October 2021. The recommendations of that briefing broadly identified that support for the use of the site for urban agriculture community gardens was an outcome of the master plan consultation completed in 2012. The limited detail available to support the use and development of the site for a community farm, for example, traffic, amenity, contamination, would be required to be prepared to support any consideration of the use and development for the site, and further community consultation may be considered to reconfirm community support for the use of the site as a community farm. And they are all the questions. So that moves us on to reports from advisory committees. I'll look for a motion. Councillor Eyre. You're on mute, Councillor Eyre.
Sorry. Recommendation is that council notes the minutes of the advisory committee meetings reported in attachment 1.
Thank you, Councillor Eyre. I'll look for a second. Councillor Egan. Councillor Eyre.
Really only to say that the Youth Council have been very busy, and I acknowledge all that they do for our community, particularly supporting our young people. And whilst we're on youth and young people, it was a privilege to be able to present the Youth Award at our new configured Nillumbik Community Awards, which was held last week. And that went to Eden Beveridge Wood, and which was even more special for me because she's from my ward. So thank you to all our young people, and thank you for that.
Thank you, Councillor Eyre. Councillor Egan. Any other councillors? I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. I'll move us on. So the next item is the Council Plan Quarterly Performance Report for the 2022-2023 Q4. And I'll look for a motion.
Happy to move the motion.
Okay.
Mayor Raptran. Yes, I'd like to move the motion that council receives and notes the council plan quarterly performance report as per attachment 1 for the fourth quarter of 2022-2023.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. I'll look for a seconder. Councillor Duffy, Councillor Payne.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank Jeremy and team for their ongoing work in making sure that council makes solid progress in delivering on its key actions. Just to name a few, we have our sports pavilion facilities, disability action, gender equality, Ida Hobbit Day, health and wellbeing, our events policy, our youth council, delivering on arts and culture projects. We've got a couple of art projects at the Eltham North Adventure Playground and at the Eltham Gateway and Civic Drive. Our climate action plan continues. We continue to help in terms of economic development and, of course, bushfire mitigation. So thank you to the team. We continue to deliver on the plan.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. Any other councillors? Councillor Duffy.
Yes, thank you. I'd just like to acknowledge the work that's happened, the targets that have been met, and there are still some ongoing actions still to be completed. But the very exciting one for me is more about the Youth Hub and that coming along and the community feedback that we've received about that action. So that's fabulous to see that. With the sports pavilions that Councillor Payne mentioned, there is a plan there, and very much the whole infrastructure that supports our sporting clubs is very important. We've recently also had council have the fair access policy ratified. And I'd like to do a shout out while we're talking about sports clubs to all of the junior football clubs in the Shire who were very successful in the AFL junior football grand finals on Sunday. There were lots of trophies taken home by Eltham North Junior Football Club, Diamond Creek, women's. So I won't go into all of them, but it's really important as a council to be able to give our community of all ages infrastructure to be able to come together, and that's where this quarterly report is a great way of being able to show the successes of that. I'm looking forward to the pedestrian bridge that is coming into Eltham North. That's been a pledge by the state government when that happens as well. I think they're the main things for me that I'd like to just highlight and remind people in the community. The other important one was the climate action plan. There's been work that's been progressing on looking at Edendale Farm, and the community has been able to provide some feedback, and officers have been working on looking at this as becoming a Nillumbik climate emergency action hub. So sounds like a long word, but we'll kind of come up with something more suitable. So thank you to everybody for the parts that they play in helping us get this far in our performance reporting.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. Any other councillors? I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. The next item is endorsement of the Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee members 23 to 25. So I'll look for a motion.
Happy to move that, Mayor Amstran. So I move the recommendation that Council 1 endorses the 5 applicants listed as per attachment 1 onto the Nillumbik Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee, applicants 1 through 5, who I can't name quite yet. 2, authorises officers to appoint the next available applicant according to the assessment results as per attachment 1, if an appointed applicant declines or resigns from the advisory committee. 3, acknowledges and thanks all committee members who submitted applications to the Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee. 4, resolves that the assessment scorings as per attachments 1 are to remain confidential on the grounds specified in the definition of confidential information in section 31F of the Local Government Act 2020. And 5, resolves that the successful applicants be named.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. I'll look for a seconder. Councillor Perkins. Councillor Payne.
I just wanted to thank all the applicants that put themselves forward to be part of the Arts and Culture Committee, Culture Advisory Committee. We only had 5 places. We had at least 10 applicants, and I wish to thank all of them for putting themselves forward. They sacrificed their time and effort to make sure that arts and culture lives and breathes in Nillumbik. And just one key point is that the Arts and Culture Committee members should represent the diverse and varied needs of the arts community in Nillumbik, including members who represent a range of age groups. And I think council officers have done a great job in coming up with a wide range of people with a wide range of experience to make sure that our Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee is the best it can be. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. Councillor Perkins?
No, thank you, Mayor. I think Councillor Payne's covered it well.
Any other councillors? Councillor Eyre?
Just very quickly, I just wanted to say how wonderful it is to have such a creative community in Nillumbik, and to say thank you to all the committee members, past and the new ones, hopefully to be endorsed tonight.
Thank you, Councillor Eyre. Any other councillors? I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. All right, I'll move us on to the next item, which
I
is...
think, do I have to read out the name?
Oh, Councillor, yes, Councillor
Sorry.
Payne, I'll let you read out the names of the successful applicants.
So I would like to announce that we've endorsed 5 applicants listed as per attachment 1 under the Nillumbik Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee, and they are Simone Thompson, Cassie May, Yufang Chi, Samane Pushafigi, and Sandra Miller. And I'd like to congratulate all of the 5 applicants.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. And yes, congratulations to those applicants. All right, the next item is the update to the flagpole schedule and flag recruitment process. So I'll look for a motion. Councillor Duffy.
Yeah, I'm happy to move that. The recommendation is that council endorses the updated flagpole schedule in attachment 1 and the flag request process in attachment 2.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. I'll look for a seconder. Councillor Eyre. Councillor Duffy.
I'll just start by saying, like, if we take a step back in history, on the 15th of October in 1999, Nillumbik Shire Council flew the reconciliation flag, and it was believed to be the first Victorian municipality to do so. So as a council, we've been widely, or Nillumbik Shire Council has been widely acknowledged for its leadership role in contributing to the process of Indigenous reconciliation. And there are lots of details contained in the Shire's Reconciliation Charter document of 2008 about that. Nillumbik Council acknowledges that we're a diverse and inclusive community, and all of the councillors here are very supportive of that, where everyone is welcome. The flags that fly at our civic centre up at Greensborough are representative of this, and the community will know that there's the Australian flag, the Aboriginal flag, the Torres Strait Islander flag, and the Rainbow Pride flag. So council officers have been considering ways of providing options for the community to make requests for council to fly flags to highlight particular issues and causes that are consistent with council's values and the access, equity, and inclusion policy. So in the report, the community will be able to see that there's a process where the Director of Communities will oversee that. So, I would encourage the community to have a look at, special days that they would like to see acknowledged, and reach out to council to let us know if there are days that they would like to have acknowledged in addition to the ones that are in the schedule that is with this item. When I've been looking at the schedule, I've noticed that there's a day that I think that we should add to the schedule, and that's the 25th of August. The Australian government officially recognised that the blackbird trade descendants from the various islands, including Vanuatu and the Solomons in the Pacific, are a distinct cultural group on the 25th of August in 1994. So that's 29 years ago. I'm hoping that maybe for next year, because we haven't been able to make it for the schedule for this year, as other councillors would like to get more information on this, and I'm very happy for people to know that, so that maybe next year we might be able to look to having the Australian South Sea Islander National Recognition Day included as well. For many people, they might not be aware that back in the 1800s and early 1900s, there were some 62,000 men, women and children that were trafficked illegally from the Pacific Islands and brought to Australia to be slave labour. It was devastating for those people, their communities, and that's where a lot of our economic wealth of the time came from. So I think it's right for council to look at that in this time of national truth-telling, and any other flags that the community deem important for our community to acknowledge, so we all feel included in our community and no one's left behind.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. Councillor Eyre?
Yes, thank you. It is wonderful that council has 4 flagpoles, and I love seeing the flags flown over the council offices in Greensborough. However, we needed a clear, impartial process for how the flagpoles would work in flying the flags. So the changes to the flag request process schedule allows for one-off flag requests from our community. So as Councillor Duffy said, put in a request and submit all the details. That request will be reviewed and either approved or denied by the Director of Communities. So it's wonderful that additional flags can be flown should they meet the criteria. I think this is wonderful news. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Eyre. Any other councillors? I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? I'll just go again because I think some hands might not be showing up. If you put it in front of your face, it works a lot better. Those in favour? Wonderful. There we go. And that is carried unanimously. I'll move us on to the next item, Living and Learning Nillumbik Neighbourhood House and Learn Local Governance Update. I'll look for a motion. Councillor Eyre.
Recommendation that Council 1 endorses a change to the title of the Living and Learning Neighbourhood House Advisory Committee to Living and Learning Nillumbik Advisory Committee, and 2, endorses the Living and Learning Nillumbik Advisory Committee terms of reference in attachment 1.
Thank you, Councillor Eyre. I'll look for a seconder. Councillor Duffy. Councillor Eyre.
Thank you. So by endorsing the revised terms of reference for the Living and Learning Nillumbik Advisory Committee, Council will ensure Living and Learning Nillumbik continues to meet the governance requirements of funding bodies. Living and Learning Nillumbik, with Council as the legal entity, was registered as an RTO, which is a registered training organisation, and entered into the ACFI service agreement, which ACFI is, and I've just gone blank, I had it, anyway, ACFI, it's in the notes, service agreement. So since relinquishing the RTO, we ensure we continue to meet the guidelines for ACFI. We need to ensure that ACFI funded programs are driven by community for community. Therefore, this advisory committee will be chaired by a member of the advisory committee. Officers meet with a representative from ACFI, and we're advised to update the advisory committee's terms of reference to include reference to, and I keep saying ACFI, governance, and highlight community-led decision-making with rewards to program offerings. It was also advised that a community representative should be appointed as the committee's chairperson, and I've been as a member of this advisory committee. I have been to a few meetings, and our new chair, she's amazing. It was also advised that the community representative should be appointed as the committee's chairperson. All the same amazing work will continue, and I thank those who attend programs, the volunteers that support our neighbourhood houses and officers that support that work. And I want to actually give what ACFI stands for, which is Adult Community and Further Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Eyre. Councillor Duffy.
Just very briefly, to say how fabulous it is to have living and learning centres in Nillumbik. For those people who use them, please continue to do so. For those who haven't, please look out at the various courses. There's so many to, enjoy, to learn, whether it's ceramics, there are just so many things. I won't go into the details of that, but just to say that Eltham, Diamond Creek and Panton Hill are the location of our 3 living and learning centres. So please make the most of it, people of Nillumbik, because they're there for you. Thanks, that's all I'll have to say about that.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. Any other councillors? I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. The next item is the Eltham Lower Park Concept Plan Community Consultation. I'll look for a motion. Councillor Payne.
Thank you, Mayor Ramtran. I'd like to move the motion that Council 1 endorses the draft concept plan for the Eltham Lower Park Precinct as per attachment 1 for the purposes of community consultation. 2, undertakes community consultation for the period of the 18th of September 2023 to the 15th of October 2023, inviting written submissions for the Eltham Lower Park concept plan. And 3, considers public submissions at the Planning and Consultation Committee meeting to be held on the 14th of November 2023.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. I'll look for a seconder. Councillor Eyre. Councillor Payne.
Thank you, Mayor Ramtran. Yes, this does represent a significant change in the use of a large portion of Eltham Lower Park. So I look forward to residents being able to voice their opinion on this change. The numbers suggest that there's over 2,500 registered dogs in Eltham, with another 700 registered in Eltham North. And the change would basically move the dogs to the park that was formerly the Horse and Pony Clubs. The dog park will have the following amenities, which is formalising the car park, 2 dog parks, a greyhound run and a vegetation corridor leading all the way up to Leinster Farm. So this is just a consultation plan. We're putting it out to the community to get their feedback, and I'm sure we will get strong feedback from the community. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. Councillor Eyre.
Thank you, Mayor. I just really wanted to encourage all community members to submit feedback, including the Horse and Pony Clubs, to be part of this. And I know that our doggies are loved, and how much our dog parks are needed. But I want to make sure that the Horse and Pony Club are supported to find suitable accommodation. And I've been advised that officers have already been in contact with them, so I feel assured by that. But I still want to make sure that they submit as much feedback as needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Eyre. Councillor Egan.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'd also like to encourage all horse riders in the Shire, not just the ones from Eltham and the Adult Riders Club, as well as the pony clubs, to put in a submission. As all of you as horse riders are aware, it's the oldest pony club we have in the district, and started by Di Bassett back in the day. So please put your feedback in and see if we can get something before this actually goes through. So we've got somewhere for the clubs to go to before this is all finalised. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Egan. Any other councillors? Councillor Duffy.
Thank you. I'd just like to encourage the community to put in their feedback. It's really, and reiterate what the other councillors have said. Getting this right is really important. This is a fabulous place of open space for the community. So I would like to make sure that we've got great representation from all of the user groups, from the sports clubs, the pony clubs, general neighbours that live nearby, people that use it, Hones Road, the railway, miniature railway users. Another part here that's particularly important for me is to highlight that this engagement starts when school holidays start. So for people of the community, please make sure you keep an eye out for when this community engagement is open for, because often it's a bit tricky to juggle all of the things that you want to do when school holidays are on for those people with families, and it's certainly very much a family oriented place that we're looking at here. So yeah, look forward to hearing what people have got to say about the concept plan, and thank the various levels of government that are providing funding to help council with the project as we're looking to roll it out.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. Any other councillors?
Mayor Ramtran, I know I've already spoken. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the under-16 lacrosse players. I was invited to a match on Saturday morning. It was my first lacrosse match, and I just want to give a shout out to the Eltham Brunswick team, who are called Elwick.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. Any other councillors? I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? Just try that one more time. Those in favour? Wonderful. That is carried unanimously. The next item is the Diamond Creek Outdoor Pool Concept Plan Community Consultation. I'll look for a motion. Councillor Perkins.
Thanks, Mayor Trent. I'll move the recommendation as per the papers, but it is that council endorses the draft concept plan for the Diamond Creek Outdoor Pool as per attachment 1 for the purposes of community consultation. Number 2, undertakes community consultation for the period of 18th of September to 15th of October. Invite and written submissions for the Diamond Creek Outdoor Pool Concept Plan. And number 3, considers public submissions at the Planning and Consultation Committee meeting to be held on the 14th of November this year.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. I'll look for a seconder.
Happy to second, Mayor.
Egan, Councillor Perkins.
Yeah, this is a very exciting project. It's sort of there were some bigger plans for the Diamond Creek outdoor pool and Diamond Creek community facilities master plan. That work's still in progress, but we're lucky enough to get an election commitment from Rob Mitchell prior to the last federal election that indicated there'd be a new grant process coming out of which Nillumbik could benefit. Nillumbik has submitted a grant application to I think it's called Investing in Our Communities grant, and that's for the tune of about $1.5 million. So if we are successful in being awarded that grant, the plan is to expend that money on a much needed upgrade of the Diamond Creek Outdoor Pool. It's a facility that's probably about 40 years old, and certainly is in need of love, particularly with disability compliance. The toilets and the change rooms, whilst they're clean and they're kept as clean as they possibly can, they're very much outdated. Don't suit anyone with disabilities, nor does is there any way really for people with physical impairments to actually get into the pool. So it's envisaged that will form part of the upgrade. But if we just look at some of the proposals or some of the elements of the proposal, as well as reconstructing of the existing change room and amenities, talking about including reconstruction of all accessible amenities, reconstruction of entries for improvement accessibility, construction of the shower and change room, and construction of amenities areas. And all those proposed works are internal for the change rooms and amenities. A new viewing area where the current Diamond Creek Swimming Club rooms currently sit. That includes demolition of the existing Diamond Creek Swim Club rooms, and construction of a new covered viewing area to be decked with seating and potential for barbecues. So I have met with the president of the Diamond Creek Swimming Club, and he was Chris Tatnall, and he was certainly supportive, and will work with Chris and the Diamond Creek Swimming Club moving forward. We'll try to get them the very best facility that we can, and they're being relocated to the far end of the pool. Renewal of existing walkways. So renewal of walkways to provide all accessible paths to all areas, paths to be non-slip, material around the pool and wet areas, including re-leveling and resealing. We know that the existing concourse does not meet the life-saving, I think it's the Life-Saving Association requirements, in terms of it needs to be of a certain width, and also a width that allows parents to sit by the pool, or supervisors to watch their kids in the pool. It's not just a job for the lifesavers, it's a shared responsibility. So those concourses certainly do need to be made wider, and we're looking at also putting in some tiered seating, so new terraced view area parallel to Elizabeth Street. New terraced view areas. A shade isn't shown on the current concept plans, but I'm sure there'll be some shade provided. Going to get rid of the current kids waiting pool, and there'll be construction of a new kids play splash area. Yeah, so a bit of a small water park there. So I'm sure that'll be welcomed. A new plant room. So the current sometimes it doesn't work terribly well. The pool's not as warm as it should be. Have been closed in the last couple of years because of the plant. So looking to upgrade that to an electric plant with a what's it called? Sorry, we'll just see if we can find that there. Yeah, with heat pumps. So heat pumps are a lot more efficient. So look, it's a great project. There's lots going on there. I'm sure the consultation will come out with some other ideas. We'll hope to incorporate as much as we can with the limited budget that is available. But it's certainly something I think that is long overdue. I've already put once this the agenda came out, I was able to put this plan on the Facebook groups in Diamond Creek, and already there's been a positive response. So a couple of people sort of said they want the pool to be indoor and open all year, but overwhelmingly that's not the responses that I'm used to in Diamond Creek. I think the fact that it's an outdoor pool is what the overwhelming majority of people in Diamond Creek at least want to keep. There aren't many outdoor pools around anymore, and certainly it's located really, really well. And you know, I'm certainly keen to keep it as an outdoor pool as long as I'm around anyway. So that's my commitment. But yeah, just thank you, and yeah, hope the motion gets support.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. Councillor Egan.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to reiterate Councillor Perkins' comments. I think the DDA upgrades, it's a very, very tired 60s, 70s facility. So apart from all the obvious structural changes that are going to be made, it's just going to have a massive cleanup. I think the kids area is pretty poor, having had to take my granddaughter there. I can't wait to see it. And like Councillor Perkins, I also think that this is an area too where a lot of the rural people go and they don't want an indoor pool. They want an outdoor pool, reminiscent of how things were in the good old days. Not that I can remember because I wasn't born then. But yeah, more than happy to second this particular report. Well done, staff.
Thank you, Councillor Egan. Any other councillors? Councillor Duffy.
Thank you. The Diamond Creek Pool, like many in our community, I love the Diamond Creek Pool, and I really look forward to receiving the community views on the refurbishment of this precinct. Most people in our shire don't have the luxury of a backyard pool, and the Diamond Creek Pool becomes a very popular place during the warmer months for people of all ages. It becomes our backyard pool, and like Councillor Perkins, I'd like to see it remain as an outdoor pool. There's just a charm to outdoor pools, and this pool is very much an end of year school breakup for year 6 students particularly. There are summer movie nights, there are swimming squads, birthday parties, there's lots of after school fun, and it really is in need of a refurb. So, you know, it's great to see the terrace seating coming as a concept. I'd just like to make sure that there is shade that's provided over that as well, and our officers are telling us that that is the plan. The vegetation is really important to keep some shade and to retain the natural feel of this place. It is very much a place of people enjoying coming for a picnic and as well. So I'd like to see if vegetation can even be incorporated, like even between, say, maybe the proposed kids splash pool and the new club plant rooms, just so that it isn't lots of cement. Let's make sure that we can do this in a really fabulous Nillumbik way with the community engagement as before with the Lower Eltham proposal. I'd encourage the community to give us all of your feedback, what you'd love to see happen here. And, you know, it is fabulous that the change room facilities and toilets are being attended to, because they certainly do need it. With the community engagement plan that we have, there is a process that council goes through according to an engagement policy, but I'd really like to see council do targeted letters to the principals of the schools in the Shire to obtain their feedback specifically, because many of the schools use this pool as a place to do swimming lessons, and I'm not quite sure how that fits within the general community engagement model, but it would be great to see if we could have letters to the school principals asking the schools to provide particular feedback on this project. How would I go about that? Am I able to ask a quick question? Is that something I can just say as a general comment, or is that something that would need to be, that can be just done as a follow-up email to officers, or does it need to be put in as a request to go in with the motion?
You're welcome to ask a question of governance through the chair, Councillor Duffy.
Through the chair, would governance be able to give me some direction on the best way to ensure that a letter is sent to principals of schools in the Shire to obtain their feedback on this project?
Through the chair, I mean, I can't account for what the project plan has, but we can refer back to the officers and ensure that the letters do get put out to the principals of the schools. It's
That's
part
great.
of the engagement process.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. Any other councillors? Councillor Stockman.
Thank you, Mayor Amtran. I'm very proud of the pool. There's approximately 11,000 residents in Diamond Creek, and I'm one of those. And I'm certainly proud of having an outdoor pool. There's a big point of difference from Eltham and Watermark pools, which are just up the road. I think it's very important that it's upkeep as well as upgraded. So we all look for upgrades, but keeping it, as Councillor Perkins said, just keeping it up to date is very important, and that upkeep is very, very important. Yeah, I'd like everything about this, and I think it's really good. Happy to support this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Stockman. Any other councillors? Councillor Eyre.
Thank you. So whilst the DC pool might need love, as Councillor Perkins mentioned, which is actually so true, it certainly is loved by our community. And so I'm rapt that this concept plan is going out for consultation. So I just encourage everyone to give their feedback. And I know we will be inundated because everybody loves the pool so much. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Eyre. Any other councillors? I'll put that one to the vote. Those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. The next item is tender report for contract 2223-026 roadside clearance, municipal fire prevention slashing, and I will look for a motion. Councillor
Happy
Egan.
to move the recommendation, Mayor Rancho, as per the papers, because I fear my voice will run out.
Thank you, Councillor Egan. I think my voice is starting to get to that point as well. I'll look for a seconder. Councillor Perkins. Councillor Egan.
Yes, I won't say too much. I'll leave it to Councillor Perkins. Safe to say that I think everybody in the Shire is aware of my fire prevention passion. This particular tender, am I allowed to say who it is yet? No.
Not just yet.
Yeah, just it's a bit hard to talk about it. Just the fact that the current company that does all of this work is quite amazing. They're very, very, very responsive, having had to call them but numerous times. Yeah, so I'm happy. We've got over 175 kilometres of road that this has to cover, and 70 hectares of roadside reserves that have to be maintained. So it's actually a massive job, and this is going to increase the workload of this particular tender job. So I'm very, very happy with the person that's been chosen. I'll let Councillor Perkins finish because my head's a bit fuddled and I'm not making a lot of sense, so my apologies.
Thank you, Councillor Egan. No, perfect sense. Councillor Perkins.
Oh, look, thanks, Mayor Rancho, and thank you, Councillor Egan. Yeah, look, roadside clearing, it's all municipal fire prevention slashing. It's a very, very important part of the Shire's fire prevention works. And as Councillor Egan sort of said, there's a lot of work to be done, this year and every year. There's certainly, there are always complaints about the roadside slashing that, there's not enough done, and that, we get some regrowth, and depending on how the season pans out, we've got to get the timing right. We don't necessarily want to have to cut twice because the costs go through the roof. So trying to do one cut might mean delaying the cut for a little while, depending on how the grasses are growing. But yeah, it's a very, very important part of work that council does to get the roadsides slashed, particularly in the areas that are bushfire prone. Yeah, just like to endorse the motion that Councillor Egan's put. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. Any other councillors? I'll put that to the vote. Councillor Duffy?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I was a bit slow in putting my hand up there, Mayor. This is a really important service that council provides to ensure that our roads are safe, particularly from the risk of bushfire. I don't, what am I trying to say? This is a really important contract, and the work that is undertaken by the people that do this is very important to the council, but also to all of the residents in the Shire, particularly those in the rural parts of the Shire. With the evaluation information that's been able to, that councils have been able to see through confidentiality, there's very, the tenders are very close. For me, I just want to say that I'm very much in favour of this roadside clearance process, and I am just wanting to foreshadow that I won't be supporting the officer recommendation for this contract awarding. And I'm doing that on the basis of the money that I've been able to see that we could save elsewhere. So looking at how ratepayers' money is spent is really important to me, and also the service delivery. And I do take on board the very positive comments that have been provided so far. But I just wanted to give it a note of explanation as to why I won't be supporting the officer recommendation for this particular item tonight.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. Any other councillors? I'll hand back to Councillor Egan for a right of reply.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of comments. I'm not sure, well, I hope Councillor Duffy is aware that traffic control is a major part of this tender program, and due to the state government's increased legislation and all their new rules and regs and costs placed on councils to do this sort of work, the traffic control is a major part of this particular tender. And this particular, well, the person who's won this particular tender has a fantastic reputation in that space. So it might be a slight difference in price, but as far as I'm concerned, the safety record of this particular group far outweighs that. It's bad enough in the last lot of regs that the state placed on us in terms of traffic control for tractors and all the rest of it, and mowers and slashers and all that sort of thing. It's going to be 3 times as bad now. So I'm more than happy with the decision that staff have made. They're the experts in this space. They know far more than we do in this space. They've made the decision, and I'm more than happy to support them. So I'd just like to congratulate the team on what they've done. And once again, I'm more than happy to support this particular motion and the person who's won the tender.
Thank you, Councillor Egan. I'll put that one to the vote. Those in favour? Those against? And that is carried.
Can I name the tender in it?
I'll just give Councillor Duffy an opportunity, I believe.
Yeah, thank you. Before the tender is named, I would just like to have my dissent noted, if that's possible.
Yeah, were you calling for a division, Councillor Duffy, or
No, just for my dissent to be noticed.
It will under the new government.
Whatever through governance, whatever you suggest is the best process for that. I'm happy to.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. Under the new governance, it is noted in the minutes, even if a division isn't called, so that will be noted in the minutes.
Great, thank you for the reminder.
Councillor Egan will now name the preferred tender.
Yes, the successful company is Darren Berrigan Plant Hire and General Contracting. So congratulations to you.
Thank you, Councillor Egan. All right, I'll move us on. The next item is tender report for contract 2223019 NCA road maintenance and associated services. I'll look for a motion. Councillor Perkins.
Yeah, thank you. Look, I'll just move the recommendation as per the papers shown on the screen there.
Happy to second, Mayor.
Perkins, and seconded Councillor Egan. Councillor Perkins.
All right, just quickly, this is largely administrative, but there's a group of councillors called the Northern Council Alliance, group of 7 councils, and there's been a bit of a joint procurement process here. So we've joined with Banyule City Council, City of Whittlesea, Darabin City Council, Hume City Council, Merrimack City Council, and Mitchell Shire Council, and this motion report basically recommends an awarding of a panel contract for road maintenance and associated services for Nillumbik Shire council requirements in accordance with the requirements also those other 6 councils. So look, it's great that I think councils working together to get the best deal for themselves in partnership with our neighbouring councils. We are very different in some ways, but in other ways quite similar. And it's certainly, road maintenance requirements. There's a standard across Australia and across Victoria that has to be met. So it makes sense to have a tender panel in this way. So I think it's a good deal for Nillumbik, as it is for the other 6 councils. So very happy to put the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. Councillor Egan.
Thanks, Councillor Perkins. Just to reiterate what you said, I also think this is great when councils are working together, and there's a huge number in this case, and hopefully this will go some way to allaying Councillor Duffy's fears with costs, and I'm hoping that we've saved some money in this one. Yeah, it's a complicated issue, but I think, again, staff have done an amazing issue. But I think we had over 60 companies at one stage who tendered for this and who showed interest, accessed the documents, and we had 34. So there's been a huge job just in going through this in conjunction with the other councillors. So again, well done to the staff. It's a complicated issue. Yes, it is operational, and we're basically ticking some of the boxes, but to see councils get together and join in things like this, like we do with the library board, is a testament. We're saving money, we're saving staff, we're saving all sorts of things. So I'm really happy to support it.
Thank you, Councillor Egan. Any other councillors? Councillor Duffy.
Thank you. Yes, I think this is a good idea when councils work together to ensure that everybody's getting the best outcome. So I do acknowledge that this is the Northern Council Alliance that are working together to help us with this contract. Councillor Egan just made reference to alleviating my fears. I don't fear that we're not doing the best here in terms of trying to do the best for ratepayers in terms of service.
Just balancing the books in, maybe put it
yeah, but it was the last contract, over a 7-year period, there was a significant difference in pricing between the 2 tenderers. So that's where, I made my vote on that. For this one, it's a very different situation. And I'm very pleased to see the way council is approaching this tender and the way that officers will be working with this in the future.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. Any other councillors? I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. Which brings us to informal meetings.
Are we going to name the tender?
Yes, Councillor Perkins is going to name the preferred tenderer.
So the preferred tenderers are Asphalt Tech Proprietary Limited, Austroads Traffic Management Proprietary Limited, Bitu Pave TA Laurel Resources Proprietary Limited, Victoria, Downer EDI Works Proprietary Limited, Greenwood Asphalt, MJ Construction Group Proprietary Limited, Omni Group Direct Proprietary Limited, Prestige Paving Proprietary Limited, and Super Sealing Proprietary Limited. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. And so we'll move on to informal meetings of councillors' records. I will look for a motion.
Happy to move the motion as per the papers, Mayor Ramtran.
Happy to second, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Payne, and thank you, Councillor Egan. Councillor Payne?
Nothing to say.
Councillor Egan?
No, just to say that we had the first RTAC meeting with the Trails Group, and it was fantastic to get back into that group, and there's some fantastic new representatives from all different fields. We had bike riders, walkers, horse riders. Trying to think what else we had. Anyway, it was great. So really happy to be back, and I'm hoping Councillor Stockman will be there with me for the next one. So looking forward to that.
Thank you, Councillor Egan. Any other councillors? I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. There are no notices of motion, no delegates' reports, and no supplementary or urgent business. But we do have one confidential report. But first, I'll just hand over to the CEO, to redeclare his conflict of interest.
Thank you, Mayor Ramcharan. The confidential item being CEO employment matters provides me with a material conflict of interest in participating in that item. So with your approval, I will absent myself from that part of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy to move the recommendation that we go into confidential, Mayor.
As per the papers, Councillor Egan.
I'm happy to second that.
Seconded, Councillor Eyre. Thank you. I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you for attending, everybody who zoomed in online. It's been wonderful to have you. We're now going to move into confidential.
Thank you, councillors, as well. I'll leave the meeting now.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
Literally gone.
Yeah, we're still live on the custom streaming service, so I'll just give it a minute to for the streaming to stop.
Just please hold for one moment.
Gives me time to open the confidential